Good morning, everyone. So I love being here. It's so nice to see you all. I just really like to praise the Lord, firstly, for my salvation. I wouldn't have this life. I wouldn't have all of you guys in my life. I wouldn't have all of this if it wasn't for what the Lord did for me many years ago. I was brought up in a fellowship in Australia, and I saw in that fellowship people receiving the Spirit and speaking in tongues, being baptized. I saw people have miracles. The Lord changed their life with their work, with all different sorts of things. So I had some really great examples in a fellowship, as we all do in all of our fellowships. That's why they're so important. And so I saw God working, and I was at school, high school, and um, I had to make quite a shift in the type of company that I was keeping at the time. And there was even though I was spirit filled, there was, of course, I was just new in my salvation, so I didn't really understood what it was to walk in the spirit or walk with the Lord. I didn't really quite understand that. And but so I knew that things weren't going great when I was making other decisions, and headed down a track that wasn't great. But it wasn't making me happy. And yet, when I go to the meetings, or maybe I'd have fellowship with people that were really great in the Lord, and their excitement, that was really something that stood out to me. And I'd go home and be happy, and I'd be excited about those things, but I'd be not very happy about some other things that I was doing, which I knew wasn't making the Lord happy. So I just really made that decision that it's like, well, I just really wanted to follow the Lord, and a lot of things turned around for me that time. I remember when I got on my knees, it was like in November on a Thursday night. I actually asked the Lord to help me with this, that this is the direction I really wanted to go. And it's a funny kind of story, but straight away there was actually a couple in the fellowship. We had a very large young people, so you could get very lost when you're from a very big. I think there was about 150 of us at the time, and but there was an older couple that were a good example, and they rang up my mum and just to sort of help me out, which was obviously the Lord did that. And then I was actually bitten by a poisonous spider on my back at a camp, and it was very painful, and it was just huge and black. That's all I knew. I screamed and threw it, and anyway, by the time I sort of got out of the washrooms, I was in the showers. I couldn't breathe. I had sort of my back was starting to sort of hunch. I couldn't straighten my back out. Mum had a look at my back. I had a red welt, a welt, and my whole back was red, bright red, and it was affecting my breathing. And I went to the elder that we had in our from Geelong, and I was prayed for, and he quoted Mark 16, and I was immediately healed, like nothing had happened. And so, just it was amazing. Just right at that time when I called out to Lord, I had these things happen, and I really saw the Lord working. Up until today, there's been no difference. There's been all different circumstances. I don't think anything I've come up against has been the same. Sometimes I wish that it could have been, because then it's like, oh, I know how to get the victory on this, but it's always different. And yet the Lord's always the same, and His answer is always the same, so long as I lean on Him. Just really like to praise the Lord. We just went to Holland too and spent time with the saints there, which was really wonderful. In the assemblies there, I just really loved it. I just had a thought as well with taking victories, flying over. I think I was over, it's like Greenland area, and I just looked out the window. It's pitch black, but there was the northern lights, and so you see all the northern lights. Like, it's crazy up there because you feel like you're in them, and there was shooting stars, and it was just, it was ethereal, like it was heavenly. And I thought, we can so worry about our needs, and our needs are big to us, and the Lord understands this, but it's just so amazing that the Lord's created all of this universe. It blows my mind. I don't even understand it. I mean, those stars I saw were probably dead, who knows how long ago. and all the stuff that goes on in the universe. And I think, the Lord's created that. So if he can do all these wonders, um, my needs, the Lord can meet easily. And I've just got to get out of the way of that, of thinking that it's too hard. And, look what the Lord's created. And then the mind blowing thing is that look what God's created, and yet he cares about what I feel and what I think. And so I just really praise the Lord for a full salvation that I have, and my family in the Lord.